I love Queen Afua. I'm reading her book, and her book is Sacred Woman. And what it is that she wants to remind us. We have to be reminded. Because even though she wrote that book, Heal Thyself, and some people will read the book and put it on their bookshelf and then forget it, and he collects dust, cobwebs, and stuff like that. But then she wrote this book, and she just gave it. I mean, it just like seemed like everything she learned, she put in this book because it's packed. It's packed. But I like that she's reminding us, right? She says, womb imbalance stops here. Healing the womb of your family. So, we got to do this work. So this particular chapter, right? She says, this chain of womb unwellness cannot come to an end until you realize that you're the only one who can change the whole energy pattern. I can say that because in every family, look at this, there is always women like you and me. Yeah? Look at that. There's always one who stands out. That's me. Who looks peculiar to the family. That's me. Who does things a little bit differently. That's me. Dresses a little differently. That's me. Wears colors a little differently. That's me. Nobody in my family would wear this. Maybe my aunts, some of them, right? Some of them that was into African culture, maybe two. And the family is all, but they but as far as my Africanness and that's always been me, right? And the family is always saying, why are you doing that? They don't say that. They just look at me. They don't say, why are you doing that? They expect it from me. Oh, that's another level. That's Gina. Or they may say in their mind, maybe Gina's bugging out. Who knows what they're saying, right? But they pretty much been supportive in a sense where they haven't said anything disrespectful and crazy to me. They've accepted me by just not going there, right? But maybe they've been saying, she wilding out. Who knows what they But I've always been like this. There's no one in my family who can't say Gina's always walked this spiritual, cultural path. Always, right? And that woman, that's me, there is light that refuses to be turned down or off, no matter how the whole family has been functioning for hundreds of years. I have just come to this point that I realize the assignment I'm on. And almost halfway through my 50s, I'm realizing, wow, I'm probably the first one who has done this work. I'm probably the first one who's never diverted. If someone in the family has tapped into this work, I'm the first one who's bringing so many people into it. I'm calling out all these ancestors. I'm calling them out. I have an aunt whose house is like, I don't know, she has everybody's obituary. She has pictures of deceased all through her house. I have to call her because she's my mom has Alzheimer's. She's the eldest. But the next one is right under her. And she's the one who has the house that has like everybody. I mean, people probably I never even heard of, their obituary or their picture, and that has transitioned. So I wonder if she's ventured into some kind of African spirituality, although she's been deep in the church. So she says this, and that woman, that's me, There is a light that refuses to be turned down or off, no matter how the whole family has been functioning for hundreds of years. You are that light, that sacred woman in training. And you, Sister Queen, you probably have been feeling alone because you're the only one who's so different. You've been feeling insecure, feeling isolated from the family. She says, remember, my sister, you are the healer. You are the one. You are one of the first mothers. You are the one who's going to show them another possibility, another way. You are one of the medicine women the whole planet has been waiting for you to remember to bring forth the earth wisdom once more. We are the generation that must retrieve this knowledge. I couldn't ask my grandmother about her womb wisdom. She's passed on. So I told my mother I was going to go to New Orleans. So I told my mother I was going to go to New Orleans to check with my aunts and their friends. And my mother said, I don't know who can help you. Maybe Auntie Sadie. She was a little bit into the herbs, and I think she might be. And I think she may be there. And I think maybe there was a midwife. This is when I realized that our most precious knowledge is dying out. We must catch this knowledge. We must catch this knowing in our generation and then pass this knowledge down to our children so it remains alive in our daughters and our sons and our families. We must regain this wealth, the knowledge that we are medicine women. When we were left on their shores, when our captors would not take care of our health needs and we had to heal ourselves, we did our God Almighty. When we were left on these shores, when our captors would not take care of our health needs and we had to heal ourselves, right? What did our foremothers do? They prayed. They meditated. They turned into their inner voices. And then they went to nature, to the roots and the wild herbs. You know, I am blown away the way she expresses that, because I know this is what my spirit, this is that ancestor in me. That ancestor's always been gathering like information from people. I've always been the one who would sit with my friends' parents. Anything in them that sound like it was from our sacred. Anything in them that was like from our past. Anything in them that was from our wisdom and our roots. I was all ears. My friends be in the room over here. I'm in the room with their mothers. Even to this day, me and my friends' parents have a closer relationship than I have with my friends. And even more when the parent is from foreign. It's me and the elders. To this day, give me an elder. I would sit with them all day. If I could make a lot of money sitting with elders, I would do it. If I could be wealthy, like not so much. You are wealthy when you're amongst all that wisdom. But if I can make a living just being with them, that's where my food is. Because they hold the secret to our past. I tell my friends, you need to be listening to your parents. You need to be mocking your parents. You need to be around your grandparents if they're still alive. You need to be mocking them, their wisdom. They drop gems. They drop gems. And a lot of it is remnants. They're remnants from Africa. That's sacred to me. That is like, I'm that, you know, they have these, these insects that go around eating little whatever. You drop a crumb, they come in for it. Oh, when you drop a little sugar on the countertop and you see all the sugar ants come, that is me when it comes to culture. I'm coming to devour and clean it up. So when she expresses that you were that one, I've always been like this. My siblings would tell you, oh, Gina, man, you was always into herbs and I was always like that as a child. I remember my mother was passing out and getting dizzy or something. And I was a young teenager. I don't even remember how I knew to go and put this herb in a pot and boil it and draw off the water and make her drink it. And she couldn't even barely lift her head and she drank it. I don't remember. I don't know where I got that from. I don't remember. I don't know where I got that knowledge. But what happens when life happens, you forget how Spirit already told you what your assignment was from way back when. And when you don't walk in your assignment and your task that the ancestors are giving you, that's where the confusion and depression, the awkwardness, the unease comes from. That's why you're never satisfied, because you're not getting the answers that your soul desires. That's why I keep saying, we need to go on the journey, because I'm not seeing enough of it in us. I'm seeing us far removed from our culture. And like she said, this is dying out. I noticed it's been dying out a long time ago. People take it for granted. They don't think it's important. What are you becoming? What are you becoming if you're not becoming yourself? What do you think you can be? People running after the wrong riches and calling it success. My thing is just basically someone's claws are getting deeper into your spirit and sucking your soul dry. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just soul sucking you. I don't care how much money someone gives me. I don't want my soul to be sucked out. You know what I mean? I don't want it if my soul is going to be lost. That means who I am, my sacred self. I have to change me. My desire is to move closer to all of me, to embrace all of me. And that's going to require you gaining the wealth of knowledge throughout the world of who you are, of your people. Collecting those remnants of who you are until you put those pieces together and make one whole. Right? So like she says, look at this. Much of this tradition lives, she talks about, I always remember the sacred elder women who would rock on their porches. And while they were rocking, they were aligning their energy centers, and they were humming, tuning into who they were and listening to what they had to do to heal their child. Their husband or their sister friend or a neighbor down the road. They would keep listening until they connected to the source, to the Most High, and they would hear what they needed to know. This is the clay we need. Right? She says, this is the clay we need to put on this person's forehead. This is the bush or leaf or flower we need to get. You know what I mean? I love this because I remember when my rash on my leg when I was a young teenager wouldn't heal. Nothing they could give me at the doctors would dry up this rash. And my friend's mother from Georgia, I know a Gola woman, she would make up some salve she had in a little jar, always had a little jar of something. And she used to dress my wound for me, make me come there every day until the thing dried up. And I remember when I went to Jamaica and my foot was sick and they was telling me some leaf that they could get to dry it up and draw out all of the pus and stuff under the infection and put some bingy man healing oil on top of the thing. And when you think that there's something that you can, and then when you go to Tobago and you get the tree of life, wonders of the world, And you get that leaf, that beautiful leaf, and you put it on something and it draw out the pain and it draw out the pus and it does its healing work, and you use soft candle and all of those things. I just love that stuff because it works. And that will help us survive. Right? She says much of this tradition lives on today in the islands. People like to call it Caribbean islands. The islands, that's what they say in America, islands. Much of this tradition lives on today in the islands. Island people are more often in tune because they're closer to the ways of Africa. Their culture was not dismantled or destroyed as much as ours was in the West. So they were able to hold on to a link with their motherland. It's true. So even when I went to Jamaica and I saw KFC there, like 30 something years ago, and I saw KFC, I was depressed for the people. And then they have a big KFC, one of the most largely consumed or widely consumed KFCs in the world is in Trinidad, in town. And I have never had the chicken, but I've seen it. It's just to me, it's sad. And we got to be wise. We got to protect this. We got to work on this, retrain and this brain, the way we look at things, the way our thought patterns. It's not easy, but it's necessary. And one of the ways is to heal our mind, body, and spirit. We have to reprogram our mind. We program our mind in how we think, how we eat, our sacred space, our worship. So I just wanted to encourage you to get this book, ladies. There's some stuff that, there's a lot of stuff. She said people used to call her Miss Goody Two Shoes. The Random House College Dictionary defines bitch as a female dog, a lewd woman, meaning obscene, indecent, low, vulgar. Slang, a malicious woman motivated by viciousness, an unpleasant, selfish woman, anything difficult or unpleasant, characteristics of a bitch, spiteful, malevolent, which is also a characteristic of a bitch, wishing evil to another or others, sharing ill will, ill-disposed, vindictive, evil, harmful, injurious. Why would I talk about the maliciousness and vindictiveness of the bitch and sacred woman? Because a bitch has always been a part of my evolution as far back as I can remember, and I'm certain she's been part of yours. She's shown up in the form of friends, associates, family members, co-workers, and even healers throughout my life. I was raised to be a brownstone princess, and some people have called me Miss Goody Two Shoes. I was not raised to be a bitch, and as a result, I was not given the tools or the skills to identify, recognize, cope with, work through, handle, or heal the scars the bitch leaves behind. I had to go at it alone and learn as I went along, but no one was able to break down for me how to live with the bitch. Not in my blood family, in my extended family, or in the society at large. So you know what I would say about that? When my friend called me bitch, called herself playing with me, and we had been friends since the age of 7, and that was her play word. She just was like, bitch, something. I was shocked and I was appalled and I was offended because she knew and I knew that when we grew up, bitch was an offensive word. It can never be in the term of endearment just because the times have changed and no, it's no longer offensive. I still reacted to the word as if she was calling me out my name. And you cannot blow with whichever way the wind blows, you should not go with the tide. Certain things you're supposed to be like, hell no. Hell no. Just like when casual sex became like something that is just a fad. Nobody's like, people call you randomly and just be like, hey, you want to kick it? No. When I was growing up, it was about serious business. It was about responsibility. If somebody was going to be with you, that meant that they really, really wanted to be there for you and make you that special person. Not be with you and be with that one and be with that one and be with that one. So there were certain things that we knew. We just knew. And now it's like we don't know nothing. Or we acting like we don't know anything. So we need to revisit certain things, right? I mean, we need to. We need to be reminded of who we are. So I love the fact that she wrote this book. She wrote this book to remind us of who we are as an elder. I thank her for writing this book as an elder. I thank her. She's obviously lived her life doing this work. So this is another piece.